Hello and welcome everyone to this episode of us taking on Book 3 of Dragonfable. Last week we managed to defeat the rather dangerous caitiff, and now we have gone into we have finished the last bit of the sagas that started at the same time, chronologically speaking, as the main story. Now, I can't put it off any longer. Let's go ahead and take on the main story of Book 3. Let's take on the end of magic. During your time frozen, Chania has created an organization known as the Rose, and they are currently widespread across the continent. In the Sherwood Forest, east of Falcon Reach, you met the enigmatic Cinquefoil, who claims to distrust the Rose and requests you to look into their affairs in the Sensi. The cryptic class, and we shouldn't have to switch classes for a very, very long time, which is quite nice because I kind of find that really annoying. Become a cryptic, color custom cryptic. To Sherwood Forest. Who could this be? China? Halt, intruder. You're entering Rose territory. Let's keep it quiet. We don't know who may be nearby. Are you a member of the Rose? I am, although my situation is complicated. You should be more worried about yourself, though. Since you've made it to Falcon Reach, it won't be long before Chania hears that you are free. And once word reaches Sword Haven, all of the Rose will be out to find you. So, are you going to turn me in? No, quite the opposite actually. I think there's a lot we can do to help each other out here. While I wear the colors of the Rose, I don't necessarily agree with their goals. But at the same time, I've met plenty of Rose members who seem to have good intentions. Thankfully, you ran into me and not some other scout. What do you want from me, then? As a member of the Rose myself, there's a lot of places within the Rose that I would look suspicious were I to investigate too closely. But you're just a rogue adventurer as far as the Rose is concerned at the moment. You can go where I cannot, and use force if necessary. I want to know what the Rose is planning. I'm sure there have been increased sightings of Rose activity near Falcon Reach recently, and for a good reason. The Rose has been converting the old Sneevil Tree Forge into a massive garrison. The Rosewood. Our orders are to stand by for now, but I worry for Falcon Reach's safety as the Rose forces build up. Most are content to wait on orders, but there are definitely those that want to take a more active stance against the city's magical populace. One of the leaders here is named Hansa. She is a magus of the Rose and a magic user herself. She's an inspirational leader for many Rose members stationed here, but I can't help but wonder what her goal here is. I need you to enter the Rosewood, find evidence of what she may be planning, and return to me. If you do this, I think I can figure out a way to get your bounty dismissed. You can get my bounty dismissed? I have my connections. A lot of this depends on Magus Hansa's intentions, however. If you are forced to defend Falcon Reach from a Rose siege, I don't know if even my influence can protect you. Magus Hansa's orders have mostly been passive so far. I'm still holding on to the hope that she can be reasoned with. before tensions rise even further. Now, that sounds like a dire situation. Do we have a deal, Jaina? Or do you have any more questions? Let's help someone. This seems to be mostly a good thing, and doing mostly good things is something that's quite needed during these times. Let's hope this doesn't come back on us. Thank you, Jaina. Now then, let's do the quest. The Rose Tree. The Rose has been converting the old evil tree forest into one giant garrison. You must go in and see what you can find out about Omega Sansa. Her motives may seem pure for now, but I want you to find her records of correspondence with Swordhaven. Return to me once you've found her papers, and we can continue from there. The entrance to the Rosewood is just north of the old bandit camp. Sansa's documents should be there somewhere. North. Eh? Welcome here to the Rosewood, where we can see some weapons that have been abandoned for a while. Quite pretty, aren't they? And that is further to the Rosewood. There is also, all the way to the left here, another area where we can find Igor. Yeah, China? I am Igor. The Master Ashenal sent me to bring you things. He does never like being called master, even though I serve him. Says he owns no one, and is not right. He found me when I was harmed and in painful. Save me, teach me magic, and how to speak, like one my kind did before. Have grown strong, but your language difficult. Words not sound right, don't come out right. He's still teaching me how. Ashendal, send me with items for tooth fragments. If you have any, I will take 4 items. Also, can improve one item. Make stronger if you get stronger. Do not need to bring tooth if you want to make stronger when already have. Will hide again when finished. Do not like Rose. Rose try to chain. I defeat, but more may come. Scared, but Ashendal helps me be strong. Will do what he asks and stay for item giving to you. I have multiple items. Which would you like? Do you have tooth fragments from the Ultra Merge Akraloth? He sent me with items, if you do. So, these are the items that you can get for the necklaces. And you can indeed get them upgraded if you want. The other shop, though, are the replica items. He gave me copies of powerful weapons. Do you want? There are the Dragon Amulet items, which, Blade of Awe, is really nice to have because of its special skill, which allows you to have slight healing. The Dragon Blade increases your bonus to hit and damage against reptiles and dragons. Light of Destiny is Artix's Light of Destiny axe. This one isn't the same as the Blinding Light of Destiny axe that you can get from upgrading and purifying the Doom axe. Twilly staff is, well, Twilly staff. Occasionally heals you. Zorbek's staff is one of the few sources of evil damage, which almost nothing has any resistance for. The Ice Scythe is really nice because it has the best elemental weakness of all weapons that you can find. Iris Mancer's staff can occasionally increase your bonus to hit, and the Shadowfire axe, which was the axe that was wielded by corrupted Arctics, specifically the corrupted Arctics that was corrupted by Zan, which has an occasional DOT. The Doomblade is unfortunately not something we can get, same as Warwick Staff and Judgment Wheel. Those are old items that haven't been updated in a while. So now, let's go ahead and do our quests here. And these are temporary items that will heal us, I think, if we use them. Let's enter this fort. Wild. Oh. Ba, 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 ba. So yeah, these are the mana hunters. The rose soldiers. Luckily, these aren't too strong. Though they can be annoying when you have to face two. Ah. Well then. Let's see if we can attack this one. No, that is the annoying part about Rose soldiers. And most of the early game enemies, really. They aren't really that easily beaten. Or, well, change targets, really. Whoops. Let's see if this way of attacking them will be a bit faster. Not really, but... this works. This is the one we came in on. Oh. Let's hope not. But yeah, that was a bad end, which we haven't seen for a while. Or really, at all. Because I usually avoid them, but this one doesn't make us do the quest again, so... I thought it funny to show. Also, yes, they would put you on trial for being a magic user, apparently. Eesh. And the chest is a nice chest with some nice items, but nothing really special. Nothing that we need. So, let's heal up just a bit. This is from where we came. And now I'm multi-at. Yay, annoyances. Yes! Die, fairy, die. Because those, yeah, those are the dreaded minx fairies. Ooh, a bounty belt. Lots of tiny, actually pleasant notes from Rose members to one another. Let's see if this is enough. Yes, it is. And here we are. Emptyville and Moonridge are checked off. A tree is circled, and so is Falconreach. What do they want with Falconreach? Again, with the magic chains. These are inscribed with the Z too. Now then, let's read the correspondence. Official Rose correspondence. Message logs of Magus Hansa, as transcribed by Scribe Fragraria. Lady Chania, I appreciate your confidence, but establishing an outpost so near Falconreach is sure to bring hostility. The town itself is not welcoming to our message yet, although few individuals have joined our ranks. As more and more magical refugees flood into town, I'm confident the tide will turn though. The town itself has been sacked 3 times over the years due to undead invasions. I cannot imagine that they would wish to rebuild again if the new magical residents start to display their true natures. Hansa. My dear Hansa, your ambition to spread our message is, as ever, admirable. However, your posting near Falconreach is to ensure that, should anything happen to the city or nearby, that we are prepared to secure it and prevent the loss of life. We must not hope for disaster, only be ready should the inevitable occur. Have patience. This position is integral to our strategy. J. Lady Jania, I'm not totally convinced of the methods used by the martial portion of our organization. We stand for a higher cause than common thuggery, and I fear that the harsher methods that some of the soldiers tend to display dilutes our message. General Acanthus apparently believes differently, though. My lady, I suggest that we rein in the harsher behaviors, otherwise I fear we will never win over the population of Falconreach. Hansa. My dear Hansa, I will speak to General Acanthus. It pains me to hear that the name of the Rose is tarnished by such behaviors. The poor Schneefels you sent to us have, as you suspected, been enchanted for countless years. My head researcher has begun the process of breaking the enchantments, and, with luck, they will be free of their burden soon enough. Lady Jania, I question the motivations of some of our soldiers. Many of our recruits are all too happy to just have a warm bed and sustenance. Others revel in their newfound authority. I have had to suspend multiple recruits who were found being cruel to our charges. I request permission to reduce recruitment quotas to a more sustainable level, lest we be overrun by opportunists and criminals. My dear Hansa, if we can provide safety for those in need, then they need not be overzealous in defense of our cause. We must care for all those who seek shelter. However, I understand your concerns, and while I cannot reduce the Rosewood recruitment quotas, I am sending additional captains to help you vet your new recruits. You may take charge of the newly completed fort and leave the tree to your new subordinates. Well, complete the quest. So, Hansa isn't completely heartless, but she does have certain ideas. Let's hope that we can persuade her that those ideas are not what actually happens. Let's heal up. You've seen what the Rose wants you to see. Maybe you should seek another perspective. Let's go to the Rose Fortress. I see. So the Rose is truly just building this garrison for Falconreach's protection. Makes sense. It seems reasonable, if somewhat facetious. Perhaps if you can speak with her, she would be more willing to share. You should be able to find her in the stone Rose Fort. Be careful. This could potentially be incredibly dangerous. Once you've spoken with her, just make your way out the fort the same way you came in. So, let's go and see about that stone fort. And let's meet Hansa. DOTs. In the counter. And the rack. We can get here the Rose Legacy items for gold, and for DC we can get the Rose Eternal Legacy items, which deal more damage but don't go up quite as high level. So many supplies piled up. Piles of chains, food and equipment. And the hypocrites show themselves more and more every time. Using magic, while they are against all magic. Some of them at least. The door is changed shut. Nothing can be hid behind it. And well-used weaponry. Notes about the dangers to be found in Sherwood are posted. What dangers? Let's stun, heal, and then deal damage. I thought I heard a commotion. No, please, try not to harm too many of our recruits on your way out. Most of the ones here are new to the cause. Oh, that was Mika Sansa, I presume? You are correct. And you are... Wait, let me guess. Even with the loss of the gift of sight, I can still sense how one has focused the magic they were cursed with. And I sense great power from you. Power, hesitation, and confusion. You must be Jaina. And if you are here, then you must be looking for answers. Interesting. Ask away. What is the Rose doing? What are you trying to accomplish? We are protecting the people of Greengard, of Lore, from the atrocities of magic and magical creatures. We bear no ill will towards any of our guests. However, some of our members turn out quite overjealous. I do my best to control them, but I can understand their frustrations, their pain. Can't you? Lady Jania is doing her best to formulate an end to this plague. The people of Lore would no longer need to fear for their homes and family. Their loved ones would never rise from the dead to attack or be stolen away to be sacrificed. Their sight will never be stolen by an errant spell. But people are afraid of the Rose. From what I've heard, you're doing far more harm than good. That sounds like a very Falconreach sentiment. They don't understand how much magic harms those around them. They refuse to comprehend the threat that thrives in their midst. But worry not. Our orders are to leave Falconreach be. Direct orders from King Altian. I leave it to Lady Jania to negotiate the details. What are you planning next? All of this preparation can't just be for show. You'd think I would just tell you that I would share all of our secrets. You are still a variable, Jaina, an unknown. Are you a threat or an asset? I'm just trying to find out what's going on. Lady Jania may not approve, but I'd like to show you the good of our work, what the Rose has already done for the Kingdom of Greengard. I've been called to lead this contingent of soldiers to the Sensi. You're welcome to follow and find out for yourself how the Rose acts for the benefit and protection of all. So, I can just leave now? You're not going to try to stop me? You've done nothing wrong besides giving some recruits valuable training experience. I will have to send word to Swordhaven, however. Lady Jania will be most interesting to learn that you're active again. Now, please try not to harm too many of our recruits on the way out. Most of the ones here are new to the cause. So, we've just been invited to join the caravan to Sensi. Let's hope that they are as good as Hansa thinks them to be. Maybe we can show her that magic is not just a tool to be used. Maybe. Yes. It was getting quite stuffy in there. I'm kidding. To be honest, I wasn't sure how much I could trust you before. You've been frozen for so long. What have you changed? But I can see that you're still the Jaina I remember. Who are you? Wow. I cut my hair and put it on the head and you don't recognize your old friend Robina? That's probably a good thing, actually. The Rose has no idea who I am, who I really am either. It's good to see you again. Thank goodness. I was hoping that your brain would have started to thaw out by now. Maybe we can find someone to hit you over the head with a hammer. You know, there have been rumors out of folklore. Sorry, that probably wouldn't actually help. But I look forward to working with you once again, Jaina. Likewise. So, Robina, or as she's now known, Sink of Oil. Well, Sink of Oil, and maybe, just some of the time, she might be known as Princess Victoria. Let's go ahead and complete Life Finds a Way. I've done some digging of my own. Apparently, the Rose has come across something new in their search for Sektuat's remains. Do you remember Sektuat, the ancient emperor of the Sensi who once held the light orb? Well, it turns out after you took the light orb, he still maintained a sizable portion of his power. You had other orbs to find, other enemies to fight. I know, Jaina. Your involvement in the Sensi, taking the orb, did help reinvigorate the revolution, though. In time, the Rose joined with the rebels, and together they overthrew Sektuat. But he escaped. He was never brought through justice. The Rose have been searching for him ever since, and if Hansa has been tasked with the job, it's likely that something has been discovered. I wasn't chosen to go, so you'll have to follow Hansa on your own. The Rose is welcome in the Sensi? The Rose is welcome in many places. For all the good that can be accomplished with magic, all the beauty it creates. A lot of Greenguard has only seen the evil it can do. It's obviously a much more complex issue, but it explains why many accept them with open arms. And what do you think? My father, the king, supports Lady Jania almost unquestioningly. I want to understand why. After all I've experienced, all the good that I know magic brings with it, and with what I know has been done in the name of the Rose, I cannot find myself agreeing with the Rose. But you should head to the Sensi. See how the Rose operates with your own eyes. Well then, let's go. And let's take off our helmet. Halt! I am sorry, but no one is allowed into the pyramid at this time. It is too dangerous. Dangerous? I thought Sektuat was overthrown. That may be so, but he left behind special gifts for those that toppled him from power. There are countless traps and other dangers of magical nature. Until we complete our assessment, we cannot allow anyone to wander too far from town or into the pyramid itself. I'm not afraid of a little danger. I've done my share of adventuring, you know. There are undead inside, persistent one. It would be irresponsible for me to let you pass, experienced or not. Oh, just undead? That's no problem at all. I could help you clear out the pyramid if you'd like. I probably have a weapon or spell. This town is under the protection of the Rose. If you're a magic user who's wandered in, you should know not to cause any trouble. Unless you don't know what's good for you. Are you threatening me? That's enough. Stand down guard. You see me, is it? This cryptic isn't with us, Magus. I know, but she is here. By my personal invitation. This is how the Rose treats strangers looking to help? Even as a blind mage, I still seem to see more clearly than you. You approach the restricted area, brimming with magic. A potential threat. Potential. You see me. This cryptic is no danger to the town people, or us. Perhaps she can help you clear the surrounding desert of danger. I'll see about these dangers now. Maybe I can find out what happened to Sektuat. So yeah, that's the third interaction with official Rose. The first was them trying to capture us. No, the fourth interaction actually. The first was them trying to capture us. The second was them ambushing us. The third was Robina and Megasansa being reasonable. And the fourth is Yasimi being completely and utterly unreasonable. Is it any wonder that at this point in time, the Rose was one of the most hated factions? After all, the Baron hadn't appeared yet, and Caitiff was still a long way off. So yeah, the Rose is not known for making good first impressions or second impressions or really any impressions at all. Prejudiced. By God. Really, it seems like they're doing all their work of making them making us hate them just by being themselves. Damn it, that was the wrong skill. And we've won. Unfortunately, this is a dead hand and no longer a healing pool. Something crumbled there. This questline unfortunately also involves our hero holding the idiot ball for quite a while. And to be honest, while somewhat understandable in character, currently certainly, it used to be quite a bit worse. which you can see at the end of this quest. Oh hey, the Sand Elf mummies have returned, and they are still as weak as ever to darkness. I believe these are the only undead that have an actual weakness to darkness. Though I could be wrong for some of the more obscure ones. Oh? What's that? Emerge. Well, isn't this tower thoroughly ruined? Let's defend ourselves because, yeah, these attacks deal a lot of damage. Backstab. Wild daggers flying about. And they lost backstab. Nothing there though. Ooh. So this is a guardian tower that has fallen here. Let's see then what he is. A false Sectuat. Oh no. Well, at least this cold hard stone floor softened the impact. And so we meet once again, Jaina. Sectuat. And his poison weapons. The Gersh Scimitar is by far the coolest of these. Well, you found him, or what's left of him at least. So yeah, we found Sectuat. Now, the face of death. Whatever the rose is looking for, I have a feeling it's dangerous. So, Sectuat, is this your new grand palace? Indeed it is. Please excuse my lack of hospitality. I'm afraid my servants were unable to come with. What a pity. You're looking quite well. Healthy. Alive. Are we really doing the small talk thing? I'm just ready to put a final end to your unnatural reign. No empathy. Look at me. Powerless. It's because of you that I'm in this state. Unlocking the power of the light orb provided me with eternal life as a lich. But your unthinking destruction of the orbs sped up my decay. Then this rose movement marches into my empire. With the advent of this pesky anti-magic movement, I've had to make compromises. Too many compromises. You would sacrifice the people of the Sand Sea to make yourself immortal once more. You deserved whatever you got. Even without the rose, the rebellion would have tossed you out. Soon would have seen to that. Ah, yes. And haven't you ever wondered what happened to your magical, half-elvish ranger friend? Zoom wasn't a mage. These sand elves were nomadic caretakers, roaming of the Sand Sea long before I arrived. When building this guardian tower of light, they drew water from the sands, formed the stones, killed the vermin. Such simple things, but done with such ease, such grace. They became wonderful allies, loyal soldiers. They were beautiful people. Even a half-elf child carried their natural magics. Wait, are you saying that Zoom is one of my descendants? Even when I sacrificed most of my elven palace guards to first extend my life as a lich, I spared my children and watched over the years as the remains of my human line continued and forgot their link to me. Watched as the last elves died out to bandits, to guards, or to the ravages of a desert with its caretakers gone. It was amusing to see the last of my line after you turned him into a rebel come with you to attempt to destroy me. I turned him into a rebel? It was your own monster that you sent to kill the both of us. To kill the winner of your showdown. In my desire of life, I couldn't risk letting the last of my own life take away my chance to live again. So, where is Zoom? What did you do? I did magic. The magic that your friend has. That was my last descendant, was smothered by the thorns of the rose. What was left of my humanity weeps. No, I can't believe it. Zoom has to be out there. If he were still around, do you really think I would be alive in my present state? You shouldn't be. I certainly won't for very much longer. That's still longer than you deserve. As I get closer and closer to the event that I, in all my glory and power, try to hold off, I'm remembering the post as emperor, hiding like vermin in ruins. I can do nothing but remember. My error was of much greater than turning myself into a lich and denying myself the pleasures of the living. It was being seduced by the power of the light orb and the promise of a longer life, when I didn't truly appreciate the one that I was living. You don't really think I'm going to fall for that, do you? There's nothing to fall for. I have no need for your sympathy. You're only your help. Why would I help you? Last time I saw you, you tried to kill me. I want revenge for my lost descendants. I want to deal a blow to the Rose and deny them the power they're seeking in my pyramid. Is that what they're doing for here? Looking for power? The last of the remnants of the items required the sacrifice you stopped before rests at the apex of my palace in the Sensei. My pyramid. There's still quite a few items of great power within, yet only a few paltry traps to keep out of the hands of our mutual foes. I certainly won't bring anything back here to you. I don't want you to bring me anything. I want you to just go into my palace and destroy those last remnants of my power. Now, let me tell you about some of the more discreet underground passages into my pyramid. So, you're serving Sekduat once more. And we got a full hit in there. Ooh, I am kind of lightheaded, actually. Who knew that speaking so much could lead to such shortness of breath? Well, we've almost been streaming an hour, and we're almost at the end of this pyramid. And of us blindly trusting whatever it is that Sekduat says. All of those things I'm avoiding, by the way, are traps. Various traps. The chests explode and the mummy heads hit you with some of their wrappings, I believe the word is. The green scarabs drop poison, the red scarabs and the sand drops fire, the giant sun thing, this one here, is a light trap. Gray scarabs drop fire, yes, as well, I believe. Let's go to the very tippity top and not fall into the pitfalls, right? Unfortunately, this shield has crits breaking through, at which point they will deal full damage instead of just the lightened version, but it's still not critical damage. A giant crystal that we've been asked to destroy. It's phylactery. It's only a matter of time, my child. Only a matter of time. Soon. Drained of life force. And yeah, you can get from this quest various sashes, belts and charms. Decent, but nothing phenomenal. Let's play the quest, Sense of Eternity. Be very careful, Jaina. If something is happening with the involvement of Sektuat, there's sure to be trouble. You, Jaina. You were warned not to enter the pyramid. Yes, because it was too dangerous. You neglected to mention the magical artifacts you were trying to recover inside. It's the palace of a light lich. Of course it's full of magical artifacts. Also magical traps, magical sand and undead guards. Magical undead guards. The entire thing is a giant pyramid of danger, and yet here you stand, unashamed at the peril you put us all in. What have you done, Jaina? I did what I had to. Had to. The amount of light magic that was just released. There was a reason we were being careful inside that pyramid. We needed to secure anything so potentially powerful. Exactly. And now it's released. Neither Sektuat nor the Rose can use it. Is that what you really think? Where do you think that magic came from? All that light magic needed to turn the life force of 100 enemies into a new life of a dead husk. I know not what kind of artifact you tampered with, but that magic must have been connected to Sektuat himself. And now that power has been released. No one can use it now. I can't believe this. Are you even listening? The magic inside it was his. You just returned it to Sektuat. I can read your trepidation clear as day. You know where the lich is. We have to stop him. I don't trust either of you. How do I know what you're telling? How do I know what you're telling me is true? Are you coming, Jaina, to right your wrongs? Or shall we clean up after your mess, as so many others have done before? That's the problem with being a hero. The ones who see only the damage left behind after we fail, and not the numerous times we've prevented the apocalypse from happening. For example, the people of Rosewood, the Sensi, partially blame the hero. Or at least that's as far as I know what they're doing. In Emptyvale, it's understandable. Magic has ruined their lives, but around here, where magic has also allowed them to live, it's less so. I cannot wait for the quest Rocks, because that is the first time that we will be able to truly take a stand against the propaganda war that Rose is currently here. Or well, the gala at least. I just hope it won't be too late then. Let's hope it won't be too late. Favorite there. It's a pleasant night for a walk, isn't it? You've double-crossed me for the last time, Sectuat. Such indignation. I'm hurt. And Du is your lovely friend. You must introduce me to such an appetizing Rose Magus. I am not another pawn for you to extract life from, vampire. The Rose has come to put an end to you. Vampire? I do not steal fluids in the dead of night, slinking through the shadows. I am the Emperor of the Sensi. I take what's mine. Zoom, but you said he was dead. I never change. Although your Rose friends would have done much, much worse, I'm sure. What have you done to him? I've simply extracted my prize from keeping it safe. He must have been unable to draw from his stored magic after being deposed, which means he resorted to using this one's own life to extend his own. He's stolen years of your friend's life away. As Emperor, they were mine to take. Monster. You Ella yourself wouldn't have taken years, Jaina. Your Rose would have ended him. You assume too much. Our mission is to prevent the misuse of magic. To stop the abuses that monsters like yourself have heaped upon the innocent people of Lore. I do not kill indiscriminately. Oh, my dear. I'm sure you're righteous enough in your idealistic dreams. But the ones who came before, not so picky, regardless. Let's just... Darkness. To be specific, primal darkness. If my life isn't going to be restored, then I shall start with restoring my undead. Starting with my favorite hero, I won't let you hurt my human.
And so the dragon appears. Come, I have a little special treat for you, little one. Just like your hero, you act on impulse, but no matter, you will join each other in eternity soon. Let me borrow some of that fire, small one.
No. Fluffy! Fluffy, are you okay?
Now this befits an emperor!
Just another fly to swat. I'm fine. That pile of rags can't even begin to stop me. Let me at him. A title fight or hand to hand? Let's fight him as a titan. Let's battle. Illuminate it. Sack the what? Such resistance. Immobility. Darkness. Let's see just what we can do. Let's defend against the oh so powerful Sack the What. Let's see, is his shield still there? His shield is still there. And we pierced it. Let's unleash our primal skill. We fight together. So, we're playing defensive now? Aw, we've lost. That's the downside of this. Let's do that again. This time, well, we are not going to be challenging Sektuat in hand to hand, but let's just find the normal Sektuat. Unfortunately, there's no skip cutscene button for these. I do think this is quite an amazing appearance, though there is still the one that I think is better, which is the appearance in the inn, where you can see him not at his monstrously large overcharged lich form, but you can see him as the ruler of Sensi. You can fight Saktuat as Saktuat the First. Which is quite an amazing fight and has some interesting mechanics. Heal, and then meditate. We shall finish this off with the primal skill. Let's debilitate our foe then. Annoying. Oh no, he managed to stun me. What shield? Regen. And primal. So, this is your famous dragon. I can sense that there's a lot like you. So, how are you feeling? Are you alright? Yes, my friend. I haven't felt so alive in years. Thank you, Jaina. And I don't believe I caught your name. Megas Hansa of the Rose. I must thank you as well, although I cannot extend a thanks to your organization. I take it that the Lich was not inaccurate when he mentioned that he saved you from the Rose then. It was not by choice, however. caught between the Rose and Sekduat. My attention was split. I was plucked away and imprisoned by his magic when I saw his defeat inevitable. Had the Rose not interfered, the rebels and I would have only had to worry about a single front. I understand. Would it be amicable to come with me for a more thorough questioning? I would merely like to learn more information about Sekduat and his pyramid, so that we may safely contain any dangers remaining with him. So, don't the Rose has been... Have I imprisoned you, Jaina? Have I turned you into Lady Jaina? Even after your inexcusable blunder here, have I offended you somehow? Yes, actually, because you were rude to me. You made it so that Sekduat was the more reasonable option. And you were my first point of contact that was somewhat reasonable after 5 years minimum of being imprisoned, and then when freed, being ambushed multiple times by the Rose. So yes, being Rose is kind of offensive. No. Kidnapping and unjust imprisonments are not part of the world that Lady Jania envisions. Then why was I unjustly imprisoned for so long? You would do well to remember that. Don't worry, Jaina. I can take care of a few Rose members if things get out of hand. Unless there's anything else, you're free to go, Jaina. The Rose will stay and secure the area. We don't need you around to revive another lich. Hey, watch yourself, Jaina. Take care soon. You as well, my friend. The radiant crown of Sekduat and his radiant wings of light. And if you are a ranger, there is even the new ranger customization. Let's sell that sword because it's really not that interesting. Let's go get our cryptic back. No, first let's go check if I have the ranger unlocked here. Become a ranger, I am ready. Wear armor. Wear ranger. Ah, that's unfortunate. So yeah, ranger is an option. Let me quickly see if I can find the ranger customization. Okay, let me from the Eternal Empires. Yeah, no, I can't show that easily. Actually, I can show what the armor customization would look like in character list, just for a bit. Let's check out Irene. Let's go to house. Yeah, that's my current customization. Ranger. This is my customization that I have, but there is the eternal customization, which is basically eternal Ranger, which requires you to complete the unending armors. And then during a fight you look like this. And then Unending Empires challenge. So yeah, that is the Ranger customization that you can unlock at the, what's it called? I know what it's called. Yeah, that's the Ranger customization you can unlock at Unending Empires in the Inn at the Edge of Time by defeating a Noxus at the height of his powers and a Sektuat at the height of his powers. But we are going for what's next. Aren't we? I just heard the report from the Sensei. It sounds like they found Sektuat's remains and neutralized them. There wasn't any mention of your involvement though. However, with Mega Sensa's absence from the Rose fortifications, tensions have increased with Falcon Ridge. I'm sure Mega Sensa downplayed the awful things that the members of Rose have been doing, so you may have to find a new source. Yes, you could try to locate the Wind. They're a secretive resistance group of magical creatures who have been opposing the Rose for some time now. I'm not sure where their headquarters is located though. Maybe you could ask your friend in Ash back in Falcon Ridge if he has any ideas. Seek out the Wind and find out the truth. Learn what the Rose is hiding behind flowery words and idealism. So, let's go meet the most perplexing member of the Rose. And I am honestly quite sure that he is the most perplexing member. Welcome. Hello, Rudyard.
Hello, Junior. I've heard so much about you and your travels.
Hi, little guy. All good things, I hope?
Yeah, mostly. What can I do for you?
Aren't Muggins extremely magical creatures? What are you doing working with the Rose?
We are, and it's true that the Rose has been doing some mean things to magical creatures, but it's only for their safety. I want to help save people from bad magic too. I help out with healing the injured, but
is everything okay?
Yep, I just haven't been able to make any friends, even though we're all supposed to be working together.
Does the Rose have a strong presence in the area?
Yep, the area is under combined watch of the Rose and the Guardian Order. A lot of places have been having issues with elementals and other scary magical things, so please, be safe, be careful.
Is there anything you can tell me about scary magical things?
I'm not too familiar with the situation myself, but I've heard that dwarves of Limcris have started moving elsewhere, and Willowshire is now completely uninhabitable, but we're doing our best to reclaim what we can.
I see. I'll keep an eye out.
Be safe.
That's Rudyard, the Moglin member of the Rose. So, let's talk with Ash. But first, do we know you? We knew someone who looked like this one, just less crazy. And yes, the Death Knights from the Water Orb Saga are quite honestly very uncomfortably accurate in describing exactly what our character is right now. Because, well, someone in Swordhaven says it best. Let me look up the actual quote. Um, let's see. Of course I can't find it. Okay. Well, in Swordhaven, a character really does tell you exactly why your character would do anything. Okay, yeah, I can't find the quote. Unfortunate. Well then, the wind. So, the Rose isn't planning to attack Falconreach. That's a relief. But now you're looking for the wind? You really are always the hero. I can help a little bit if you're looking for them. They're a secretive rebellion group led by a number of wind elves, I believe. I've had some dealings with them in the past, and many refugees passed through their camp before settling here in Falconreach. Their camp is deep in the Dragonfable south of Falconreach. Just head out of town along the southern path and head west. Be careful though, they're very distrusting of outsiders, for good reason. Their members have suffered the worst of the Rose. Mentioning that you're my friends should help you earn their trust, but don't expect them to welcome you with open arms. So, let's go then to the Dragonfable Swamp. South and west. Nope. Ah, this storyline that I almost forgot about, and then suddenly it got an update. The Dragonfable Swamp. Let's climb over. Halt! What business do you have in the swamps? I'm a friend of Ash. So you say. I can lead you to our friends, but you'll have to prove your intentions when you get there. Welcome, critic, to Saloneska. Mind yourself, and remember that we will be watching you. Who have you brought to us, Halda? Who are you, stranger? Hi, my name is Jaina. I'm here to learn about the wind. I was told that if I sought out the wind, I'd be able to learn more about what the Rose is doing. Lajali. She said she was a friend of our contact in Falconreach. Ash, maybe Kara would like to know what to... You are too quick to trust Halda. For all we know, she is a Rose spy or assassin. But, Jaina, if you wish to meet our leader, I must ask that you first prove your intentions. But I'm Jaina. I've saved all of Lore a few times already. You don't recognize me. The Rose has attracted many recognizable names and faces. You are clearly exceptionally capable. Letting you in, and Fatat, is not the same as letting in some refugee eager to fight, especially after what happened at the sanctuary. I do not know you personally. I do not trust you. You must understand, Jaina. The Rose threatens us in our way of life with each passing moment. Unfortunately, Lajali is right. We can't be too careful. Speak to me later if you'd like to prove your intentions. But until then, Sulaneska will be restricted for you. I see. We will be watching you, Jaina. Welcome to Sulaneska, where the wind train in their magical ways. Stranger, have you seen a human woman named Eleni? I'm sorry, I don't believe I have. Is something the matter? She is my wife. We were separated when we fled our village after the Rose moved in. I don't know what happened to her. That's terrible. Can't the Wind help you? Aren't they the rebellion? Kara says they do not have the resources to spare to locate a single missing person. There's that name again. Who's Kara? Kara is the leader of the Wind. She's a blind elf, like many here. Is there anything I can do to help? You seem more than capable. If you're here to help, maybe you're the resources Kara has been waiting for. No, please, excuse me. Without Eleni by my side, my world is spinning, and my stomach goes weak. I'll see what I can do. Thank you. That is Ogarak, maker of the best belt in the game, or at least for a long time. Ogarak's Treasure, the level 85 version of it, was the best healing belt. The Forge. Hello there. If you've gathered any spare rose emblems, I may be able to requisition some spare weapons for you. There's the Rose Emblem shop, which you can get the swamp weapons. Swamp axe, swamp sign, swamp stick. This is a wand, which you don't really see all that often. Or at all, really. Wands are the lesser used, shorter variant of the stave weapon type. And then there is the DC versions, which are the deadly, and the swamp katanas. Hello, who are you? I'm Pena. I tend to forage down here. Mostly just maintenance and emergency work, but it's important. Down here? Yes, the majority of the camp is above in the tree tops. I work down here so that the noise and the heat is more muffled by the winds. You seem a lot more open than Lil Charlie. Do you think so? I still mind my words, but I simply can't enjoy what life I have here if I'm always looking for ulterior motives. If someone wrongs me, that's on them. Maybe that's a naive view of the world, but I've got too many other things to worry about. Besides, the wind will protect me. You must have a lot of faith in the Vinland. Yep. Now, if you'll excuse me, I must get back to work. Let's see about proving ourselves. Jaina, you claim to be this hero. If you truly wish to prove yourself to us, then I have work for you. Well then, let's do some quests. If you're ready, there have been some infestations of the Rose attempting to intrude into our territory. Force them out and bring back proof. Nowadays, we only have to do 2 of these. It used to be that we had to do 20 of these. That was a pain. And to be quite honest, it still is, but it's far less so. Because this is a randomized quest. With randomized enemies, randomized people we have to face, and randomized Rose presents. Yeah, just an assassination works on that. And here is Snout, a reptilian of interesting design and very easy to beat. And our first split. Froggadal. And this is Snapperdilla, which is Valeris' favorite creature. And you have a Snapperdilla pet, which is the Snapperdilla that Valeris is such a fan of. Also, if you are a botanist or someone with interest in flowers, you might have noticed that all the Rose members, except Jania, and even that might be one, appear to have flower names. That is intentional, and it is something that is very consistent, even though they are sometimes very obscure names. Adam, for example, is the renamed version of Guardian Aunt May, and his name is, I believe, a species of rose, but I am not sure. But yeah, that is the unifying theme for their names. And now we can see the nature elemental. Ooh. That one will be dead either next turn or if we're lucky this turn, but we're not lucky, so. And another Snout. and a Rose member. Or well, a few Rose members. A Rose expedition that we unfortunately need to deal with. Luckily, so long as we don't do bacon damage, the Rose isn't resistant. The hypocrites. That one is almost dead, I believe. Either next turn or the turn after. Apparently, the turn after it is. And we got our first Rose team in the Rose emblem. Two Rose emblems. It used to be 20, which lore-wise makes more sense, because, you know, knocking out 20 expeditions isn't really something that a potential spy would do. And they do have you under observation in order to make sure that you are in fact knocking out the opposition, or at least that's what they imply. Let's hope that we don't run into too many multi-fights, because that takes a toll on our health. And time. And mana. Mostly mana too. Though. Let's see if I do this, then that. Let's see, can I in one turn take out this one? No, I cannot, but I can use one skill per. Unfortunately, dual hit isn't available until we hit once at least, so we can't use that to deal with the single targets. That would save us 10 mana a turn, a time. Ah, a health path. One of the slow ones, which I forgot were in this part of the story. But yeah, that's usually at the end of a divergent path that doesn't lead to the, what's it called? That doesn't lead to a correct answer. A ending fight. That's it. A boss fight. That's it. Okay, that was a nice crit. So let's see if this works. Yes, it does. And a full healing pad. Now that's amazing. Because that means I won't need to bother with my potions. And we found the enemy. An energizer, by the way, is also what Raven. No. Yeah. Raven is. What? Okay, that was apparently a miss or something like that, I assume. And we have our 2 rose emblems. Well done, Jaina. You have proven yourself to the wind and can access the shroom case, which will take you to the upper levels of Soloneska. Welcome, Jaina. Soloneska is open to you. Now we probably won't see much of him anymore. Where is the shroom case? Ah, here is the shroom case. This is a quick teleport, but we are going to take the shroom case. Jaina, are you in a rush to see someone? I can fly you up top. Which doesn't really do anything, but... I have heard of your exploits, Jaina. I look forward to working with you. They get closer every day. I can't stand it. I'm hardly getting enough sleep as it is. Shh. It'll be alright. If they want to get you, they'll have to make it past me first. Thanks, Vitra. But as scared as I am, I wouldn't let you fight them alone. I know, Kraft, but unless the day ever comes, breathe easy. The wind is doing all it can, and so are we. You have nothing to fear here. Right. Deep breaths. In, out. I got this. So yeah, someone who has had an encounter with the rose, and so deeply traumatized that even the thought of them getting closer sends him almost into a panic attack. Yeah, the rose isn't all that kind as they like to pretend they are. Hello? Please, excuse me. I'm in need of some help and you appear quite capable. Hello? What's wrong? Before we settled in Soloneska, we were the wind. Many of us lived in a place called the Sanctuary. we were a coalition of many races and backgrounds, all opposed to the Rose, but eventually the sanctuary was discovered. The Rose was not measurable. Many were lost or captured in the aftermath. Kara found those of us who escaped and survived, and we hid away here, becoming the Vind. I would like to do something for the ones we lost in the sanctuary, but I am required here in Solneska. Would you be willing to help me create memorials for those lost to the Rose? Now that's a worthy cause. Let's see if this will be the last mission of the stream, or the second to last one. Thanks for your help. These memorials, no matter how brief, will bring comfort and peace to any affected by the Rose. Let's hear the song of the wind. My mentor was lost in the battle of the sanctuary. He taught me how to fashion wind chimes from the odds and ends of the forest. They were beautiful in both sight and sound. If you could find the materials I require, perhaps you could hang them up in Falconreach to provide comfort and peace without pride. Such are wind chimes, and such was my mentor. Ah, I forgot to heal up. Whoops! The Sneefles. Harmless creatures, really. I mean, they are enchanted children, just wanting to create box forts. Why would they be enslaved? What threat could they possibly pose to the Rose or to people in general? They at worst would beat you up and take a box from you. The normal resting place of Zurbek, if you didn't have him in your party. Now a wanted member. And living in the Rose, in the Guardian Tower. Mill. No, it's a Rose area now. And that's the last wind chime. The sound they make is really quite soothing. I hope it brings some comfort to those who need it. Now, you can get the Mana Hunter or the Sword Haven Cloak for the level that's appropriate. A breeze blows through the streets of Falconreach, bringing a little magic to all who care to listen. And we got a Mana Hunter Cloak. Shall we sell it? We can get a swirl of color in there as well. I had a particular friend who loved flowers. She was from a farm outside of Swordhaven and had heard the stories of magical Vindeflowers. We had plans to one day travel to the wastes of Browmerk to find them, but the Rose put an end to that dream. If you could find some Vindeflowers for me, perhaps we could plant some along the road to Swordhaven. She would have liked that, I think. Browmerk. So much is lost to the Vind. To the Rose, really. So much, and it's so sad. Because, well, they could be a force of good. They could be, they just... damn it, misclick. Aren't. I think that, for me, is the worst bit about the rose. They could do so much good, but they don't. We found the Vinda flowers. I was only able to find that Vinda flowers and seeds. Would that be enough? Seeds are the beginning of new life. You've done well. We will preserve and propagate the Vinda flower with magic, so that it may last. And now these flowers are here. The Vinda flower in all its glory. Well, I'm still saddened that my friend could not be here to see it. Perhaps you can plant it along the road. It will brighten to Swordhaven. It will brighten at least someone's day before the rose gets to it. This flower, like life, is impermanent. But, like my friend, its beauty can still shine for those who need it, however briefly. Such a beautiful flower. Almost seems a shame to just leave it there, but that's the point, I suppose. Be well, Vinda flower. Those are the people that they try to preserve. And now they're under arrest. But there's always someone enjoying them. And yeah, Mana Hunter and Swordhaven cloaks again. Keep and sell. And now, the dancing breeze. My final request is for those that remain lost and scattered. Kara has done well, but there are still those who fled during the destruction of the sanctuary, who have yet to find their way to us. Perhaps this is naive, but if we can set up some small magical windmills along the traveled roads, maybe, just maybe, we can show those in hiding that there's still hope, and that the cause is rebuilding. It's night in Falcon Reach. Let's see if we can't find them. The gates are closed, so how did the dogs get in? I find it quite amusing, to be honest, that I set out today to do the main story, did a small part of it, and then immediately got sidetracked with another side quest. We found the materials needed. I got the windmill parts, but There were dogs everywhere. I guess the guardians were napping. I see. Well, thank you for the materials at least. We'll get started right away on crafting some windmills. And we craft. I know it's not much, but the style should be unmistakable to anyone who lived at Sanctuary. Thank you for all your help, Jaina. I will never forget what you've done for us here in Sulan Eska. So, there were others. Hope still lives on. Perhaps I'm not ready to give up the fight just yet. Small steps with intent and meaning behind each one. Even if it's only for one person. I'm glad to have helped bring this light into the world. And yeah, the clouds again. Okay, we'll keep that, I guess. The level 90 version of the cloud. So yeah, we helped someone build a memorial. And we helped out in the Rosewood and with some of the magic. We helped out in the Rosewood and saw that the rose isn't all evil, just mostly so. So, that's it for today. I will see you all next week.